Hey everybody, Brian Horvath here, and so thankful that you're with me here for the live LinkedIn weekly Q&A where I answer your questions about LinkedIn as well as give you some other hot tips, tricks, and tactics that you can use to make the right connections on LinkedIn. So glad that you're here with me today. We got a lot of stuff going on, so I don't want to overdo the intro, but we did get some great questions from folks that have emailed and seen Facebook or on LinkedIn that we're going to do this live today, which I do weekly. And so excited that you're here. And we're going to get to those questions in just a minute with a little bit of some tips and tactics and tricks that you can use to, again, to make the right connections on LinkedIn, as well as a little review of what we talked about last Wednesday at noon. So we do these every Wednesday at noon. And if you're on live with me here right now, then I want you to be able to put into the comments any questions that you have, and I'll be checking them and looking at them so we can get those answered during the show today. So let's go ahead and without any further ado, on without any further ado, let's get going on today's LinkedIn Live Q&A. So glad again that you're here today. So I have a little bit of a presentation for you. We'll go through. Reminder: every single Wednesday we're live at LinkedIn. We're live with Q&A questions on LinkedIn every Wednesday at noon. So don't miss it. Put it in your calendar. And again, if we don't, or if you miss the video or miss the live, we'll have it on my YouTube channel with in a day or so, so you can catch it there. And I do want to ask you to check out my YouTube channel. You can go ahead and just Google brianhorvath.com YouTube, and you'll be able to find it there. We'll have a special LinkedIn playlist of all the lives that we do, as well as some other bonus trainings and videos, again, with the ultimate purpose to help people make the right connections on LinkedIn. So, okay, here we go. Today's topic is we're going to help you get your connection, your LinkedIn connection request accepted quickly. Yeah, it's a big deal, right? So LinkedIn is based on networking and connectivity with people within your industry, within and outside of your industry, both in your city and outside of your city. Heck, maybe even one day intergalactically, if Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos have their way with it, right? And God willing, we could take Mars and have LinkedIn on Mars or whatever. All that to say is, I want you to be able to network well, network efficiently, effectively, and for the ultimate purpose of helping people and people helping you. And again, LinkedIn is founded on some basic tenets, some basic principles. Ultimately, you get what you give, and would benefit from there. And so, really want to help you to have that mindset that we're seeking to serve people, and the best way to get connection requests accepted quickly is to do things like that, seek to serve. But we'll get more to that in a little bit. How to get your LinkedIn connection request accepted quickly is today's topic. So a quick review from last week, and then we'll get into the topic for today as well as some LinkedIn questions. Hot tip: how to use LinkedIn if you're unemployed. That's what we talked about last week. How to use LinkedIn if you're unemployed, right? For a lot of folks that are unemployed, find themselves unemployed, or knowingly or knew they were going to be unemployed, or maybe they've been unemployed for some time and are now getting on the train or getting on the horse of seeking a job. And they're, what we might call in the career coaching industry, not only in career transition, but a job seeker. This is what we talked about last week. And last week we talked about some basic principles, some foundation stuff. And again, it almost would be like ad nauseum that you'll hear this from me, but it's so important that we remember every single day the answer to this question: who needs most what you do best? Who needs most what you do best? Think about it for a second. What do you do best, and who needs it the most? And there's some other LinkedIn videos that I shot. You can find those on my YouTube channel where we answer that question or help you answer that question. Who needs most what you do best? Ultimately, that is how you're going to be employed if you find yourself unemployed. Heck, if you find yourself misemployed or unfulfilled, you want to ask yourself and answer the questions: what do I do best, and who needs it the most? And at the end of the day, that should flip out a little bit of a one or two line paragraph for you, or that says exactly this: who needs most what you do best. And if you have that heart of service, of seeking to serve, seeking to add value, then you can showcase your talent, showcase your skills and abilities, and leverage your personality traits for what you do best in serving those who need it the most. That essentially is the heartbeat, the foundation, the blocking and tackling that you need to no longer be unemployed. And you can showcase all that on LinkedIn. You could take this simple question, answer it, brainstorm the answer, finalize your answer, and then make sure LinkedIn says that. And that will surely help you get employed from a status of unemployment. And I really believe this. So that's the hot tip. How to use LinkedIn if you're unemployed? Well, you need to be able to answer the question, what do you do best and who needs it the most, and go from there. All right, so let's get to some live Q&A questions. This today, we got a few, so we may go a little longer today. We may end up right on time. I tried to make it a half hour every single one of these live Q&As. But today we're going to answer some questions that came from Facebook and came from some friends in conversation. Even got a couple private messages, and so thankful for those messages that come in, and so thankful for those questions that come in so that we can get those answered for you. That's what I do. My purpose is to help people like you, people like me, to know, live, and love the purpose for their career and finances. And one of the ways to do that is to use LinkedIn. And so I want to answer your questions about LinkedIn. I've been coaching LinkedIn since 2013. We had a great mentor. His name is Greg Wells, and he shared with me how to help people be found fast using LinkedIn. That was the name of his company, or be found, or be hired, be found fast, be hired fast, all that stuff. And I learned a ton, and I blended it in with my experiences, and not only in my own journey in my career, but also within companies that I work for, people I've served within different for-profit and nonprofit organizations. And that's how I get to share with you the answers to your questions through that framework, through that mindset, through those paradigms, and through those experiences. So let's take the first question. And this is a question from my family friend, actually my wife's friend, and became my friend. Louise asked, how do I get LinkedIn Live? How do I get LinkedIn Live? And I just want to direct you guys to a couple things. One is I recently did a YouTube video. I was interviewed by who's now become a friend as well. That's what's so cool about working together with people and teaming up with people. You might start off doing work with them, but later on they become fast friends, and everyone's the better for it. But Daniel Schwenger, Schwenger, has a YouTube channel called Live Broadcasting Rocks, and he and I talked about LinkedIn and how to access LinkedIn Live and how to best use LinkedIn within your everyday work that you do, whether you're a content creator or if you're somebody just like that volunteers to help people, or maybe you want to share with employers what you do best. Daniel and I talked about how to get onto LinkedIn Live, and it's somewhat of an application process. As a matter of fact, it is an application process. I don't think they call it an application so much as they call it a submission form to get approval from LinkedIn to be able to broadcast live from your profile or company page or what have you. And I'll include in the show notes here, if you're watching this from YouTube or whatever, and I'll even put it on later on Facebook. This is the video that you can go to find out from Daniel exactly. I think it's a nice read, or excuse me, it's a nice listen. It's a nice watch if you're going to watch it. And it's a timestamp 31 minutes and 30 seconds. You can gather from Daniel what the parameters are, what the requirements are. And then I'll also include in the show notes the LinkedIn.com help resources where you can find the answer about specifically what to do, how to do it, and what they're looking for. And real quick, what they're looking for is that you have at least 150 followers / connections. And, that's what it says in the FAQ or their help guide. But I don't know quite sure what that looks like today, because if you're a content creator or somebody that's constantly posting on LinkedIn and you've turned creator mode on, your connections turn into followers, and those are folks that can see your content, right? And so, I have quite a few, many people that might turn their page into a content creator mode on, may have, thousands as well. And that is a great place to start. So I'm not quite sure, 150 connections on LinkedIn is quite a small number if you're going to really work the algorithms for people to be able to see your profile more and more. That's a whole nother LinkedIn Live Q&A episode. But I'll put in there all that what you need to do, including the submission form. And they claim to get back to you with approval or denial. Denial sounds so harsh, doesn't it? And they claim to get back in about 3 to 4 business days. And if you've applied recently and did not get approved for whatever reason, a couple things you might need to tweak in your profile, like making sure everything's public and visible and all that kind of stuff, making sure that you're following the LinkedIn guidelines as they stand today for both your profile photo, for your banner image, just for things that you're not hopefully getting dinged for within the profile or within your profile. But if you are denied for whatever reason, they ask you to wait, or they may even force you to wait. I'm not quite sure, but ask you to wait 60 days before resubmitting. And so take your time, get some things cleaned up, and then resubmit. And I know a couple of people that were pretty persistent and consistent about submitting every 60 days to finally get approval. So for some, it's easier. For some, it's more difficult for whatever reason. Some we may never know. But I just encourage you that, yes, you can. The minimum I would say is that you got to have 150 connections slash followers. So great question, Louise, and keep going, keep submitting. And I'll even try to drop in, let me take a note here. I'll drop in the application URL link too for folks that want to submit for LinkedIn Live. One of the other things I'll say real quick is that they're looking for folks that have consistently posted content that is unique, and whether it's an article, whether it's a post on their profile or their company page, that you're feeding the system, right? I mean, obviously, any of these social media platforms, they own the real estate. We get to rent it for a while or play on it or participate in it, but ultimately, it's their ball, it's their field, and if they want to go home, they can go home. So they have these parameters in place to protect the integrity or the culture, of what the platform is all about. And so, you can't blame them for that. But at the same time, too, people get snarly, a little frustrated. Don't. Just make sure you're covering your bases, making sure that you have the right qualifications in place, and that you submit and be patient, and maybe pray a little bit. So all that kind of stuff is good. That's how you get live on LinkedIn with a submission of an application and approval there. So the next question we have is, why should I prioritize LinkedIn, or should I prioritize my LinkedIn profile as my number one source for networking? And folks, I would say, let me go ahead and just change the little video here. I would say you want to use LinkedIn as a priority, but more so much of a part of your formula for how you're networking, whether it's online. I think that's the best place, the creme de la creme place to be networking. With over 740 million users on the platform internationally, that is the place to be and to be found. And I say this again often, is that there's two main reasons for LinkedIn. One's a proactive approach and one's a reactive approach. Proactive is that you are inviting people to connect. You are connecting with employers and potential opportunities, but also potential opportunities, recruiters, hiring managers, employers, and people in the industry or even outside the industry are connecting with you. So those are the two main purposes. One's a proactive, where you're working the system and you're working the platform and you're working your profile and you're making connections, right? And then there's the people that are trying to do the same, connecting with you. Ultimately, those people that are connecting with you are seeking out a solution to their problem. And are you a problem solver? Are you a solution to their problem? You have to ask yourself that and make sure you're positioned to be that they know that. So I would say it's a formula, a part of your formula you should consider highly, that you're engaged in every day. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the timing of all this later in the program. But I would say you want to be engaged every single day within LinkedIn, a little bit of time, so that you can be effective out there every single day. And so ultimately, it's a part of the formula. You should also be doing in-person networking, right? Setting up strategic coffees or Zooms where you can, to be able to make those right connections on LinkedIn, seeking to serve people. And, some people get a little worried about networking calls and networking conversations. And you know what? I'm going to take a note. I think that needs to be another LinkedIn Live. And I want to go ahead and put that in my notes here. So how to have a win-win networking conversation. So let me go ahead and get that for you guys. Let's see, how to have a win-win networking conversation. See, I have a lot of these ideas and I don't want to lose it. So, okay, how to have a win-win networking conversation. And I think that's important. So a combination of LinkedIn as being your preeminent place for online networking. It's not Indeed, right? Indeed is a job board, career builder, ZipRecruiter, all good stuff. But I think LinkedIn is the best place for you to be you, to showcase you, to how you add value to the marketplace, and to really make a difference. And great search functions, finding what people do I know that work for companies I like to go work for in my area or my city, or what alumni do I know from my college, and even with my degree in the same field, that work in a certain city or a certain company doing a certain role. It's amazing how you can really dive in deep. And one of the best ways to do that is to be well connected. So good stuff, good question. Let's go ahead and jump back to the question. So should I prioritize LinkedIn as my number one source for networking? Definitely online, but overall, it should be a high percentage part of the formula for you to make the right connections overall and to network successfully overall. Great question. Okay, here's one that I totally get. I totally understand. Matter of fact, I made it up myself. This is a question I made up myself because I think I hear this chatter a lot. It's a question I've asked myself before, and I know some people are turned off by LinkedIn because of a question like this. And so here it is. I get a lot of salespeople. I get a lot of salespeople wanting to connect with me. Is LinkedIn really a viable resource for my career growth? Yes, yes, of course. I just shared that it's a viable resource for your career growth when it comes to networking. I also would say that yes, there's possibilities for you to get salespeople depending on what your keywords are in your headline, your keywords are in your profile, that may trigger more people that want to sell you something, this, that, or the other, to help you with whatever you're trying to do in your career. For example, I'm a trainer, I'm a speaker, professional speaker, a trainer, a coach, a customer success expert, and help. Obviously, I my purpose is to help people know, live, and love the purpose for their career and finances. Well, when people that sell leads or maybe sell coaching systems or sales systems, they're going to search for folks like me in LinkedIn as their prospect, as their target prospect, as their target market. And of course, I'm going to get a lot of people that want to connect with me directly who eventually would love to see me purchase something from them. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, especially if it's done in a professional way. Like, hey, I'd love to serve you. Might this be something you're interested in? Not what I don't like, and this is where the probably the heart of this question is coming from, where it gets frustrating and annoying, is when you can just see it coming from a mile away. There's no attempt at conversation. There's no attempt at getting to know my business. There's no attempt at getting to develop a relationship. And I'm not saying we're going to be besties, right? We're not going to be blood brothers. We're not going to pinky swear and spit shake on something. We're just trying to connect and network online. And this is why a lot of people get turned off, because of the people that do not network well. They're looking for something to sell and they're trying to do it right away. Matter of fact, even taking it back a step, just as opinion, I'd rather someone tell me straight up, hey, I saw you're a coach. I have some things I think can help coaches. Would you be willing to connect with me? And honestly, I think that's a better approach than trying to do the side door. And honestly, I don't understand why some of those people want to do it. They want to build rapport. They want to build connection. I've done it myself. And maybe the next message is not directly a sales pitch, but it's kind of not the same for everybody. Some people like a more direct approach. Some people like a little bit more side door approach, whatever the case may be. But I just know is don't be slimy, don't be stinky, don't be a used car salesman in a negative sense, because I believe all sales are good, but don't be that person that's just after one thing themselves. Don't be that person. Don't be that person, because LinkedIn can get a bad name when that becomes more prevalent. And I'm not saying it's anywhere near prevalent, but be conscientious of that. Another reason why you want to stay on LinkedIn and even accept these requests is, even if you're ready for the sales pitch, let me go ahead and put my face on here again. Even if folks, a sales pitch is coming, I say connect anyway. I say connect anyway because I care most about that situation is being in their network. If I can be in their network of people that they're connected to, then that can be a good thing. So you still get benefit and value, even though you may be annoyed or frustrated by the message that's coming in saying, will you buy my product or service? Because LinkedIn is based as a database on a couple different functions. One of those functions is the algorithm. Part of the algorithm is who is in your network. Whose network are you in? And the way you're going to be found, whether it's for more clients, whether it's for a target company or a specific position you want to get after, you being a part of more people's network is going to help you be more visible to people that need most, what you do best. So there are other functions and other opportunities besides just waiting for that litany of sales messages and marketing messages that may come as you connect with someone that may be trying to sell you something. So yes, this is viable to your network. And I'll say one more thing on that. I drive around every day and see billboards, see signs on cars. I get people to ask me if I want to buy something in the mall. Those aren't bad things. Those are good things. That's what keeps the economy going in America, is solving a problem, first finding, the problem and solving it. But you don't have to say yes to all those, right? You don't have to purchase every time someone asks you to purchase. You don't have to take action on the billboard messages you see driving in your car. The same thing that goes here. You may get the billboard, you may get the email trying to sell you something, but move on. Just move on. So either reply no thanks or offer them something that you have. There may be a way for you, maybe God had orchestrated for you to be connected with this person who was trying to sell you something when in actuality you have something for them that may add value. Just a thought, something to consider. So great question. Of course, because I came up with it. No, it's questions I've heard on webinars and that I've done in workshops and in person talking with people. Okay, so let's get to today's topic. Today's topic is how to get your LinkedIn connection request accepted quickly. How to get your LinkedIn request or connection request accepted quickly. And what do I mean by that? So obviously we want to go out and connect with people, invite people to join our network, right? Okay. One of the ways that we grow and go in our career is connecting with people and opportunities. You want to connect with people, whether they're recruiters, hiring managers, headhunters, CEOs, CFOs, CIOs, CPOs, COOs, CTOs, CFOs. If you need to connect with someone in the C-suite, I think I captured a lot of them. But you may not be want to connect with someone just in a C-suite. You may want to connect with a VP or a director or a manager, whatever the case may be, or somebody that you want to work with on a project, or somebody that you want to be connected with in their sphere of influence. You want to tap into their network because it could benefit you as well, right? So there's a bunch of different ways why you might want to connect with somebody in LinkedIn. In this case, though, sometimes people connect or send out requests and don't know how to do it, or they're finding they're not getting their requests accepted quickly. And what's the problem with that? Well, first of all, there's going to be a third. A third of the people that you send your request to, they're just never going to see it, right? They may have a profile, but they're not on it like you or I may be or something like that. The other third is people just will accept, right? And then the other third is somewhere in the middle. And I believe that somewhere in the middle can be shifted to make it two-thirds of people that accept if you do a couple things I'm going to share with you in a second. Okay, so the ultimate goal is here is to connect with people and opportunities. That's what you can control proactively. Now, reactively, what you can control is making sure your profile has the right keywords and make sure you're organizing it in such a way that's readable, that's acceptable by both a computer and a person. That's more on another topic down the road. Or you can watch some of the other YouTube videos that or the other lives. But in the next couple of minutes, what I want to share with you is a couple F's that help you remember or help you to get your LinkedIn connection request accepted quickly. First of all, you want to have a foundation. And the foundation is what I talk about all the time. We talked about it earlier, knowing what you do best and seeking to serve those who need it the most. So having that foundation right away. Why are you connecting with this person? What's your point? What's your reason? You got to have a firm foundation in that if you're going to get your connection request accepted and accepted quickly. The second part is you want to take time and focus time on targets, meaning what vertical market are you targeting? What industry you're targeting? Maybe there's a certain company you're targeting. Maybe you're connecting with certain professionals in a certain city. Maybe it's a city you live in or a city you're going to move to or a city that you're going to visit. And before you visit, you're trying to build some networking online so that when you get there in person, you can meet with them and you've already had a soft opening, a quick opening because you connected with LinkedIn already. So you want to focus time on certain targets, and that will help you be able to craft your message in your profile or your LinkedIn connection request. And then you can start batching requests in a timely manner, in an efficient and effective manner. But it's easier to do that when you're focusing on certain targets. Like if I'm focusing on CEOs, or if I'm focusing on sales managers, or if I'm focusing on maybe construction managers or supply chain managers, and you have a product or service to sell, or maybe you want to be employed by those kinds of folks that can hire you. That's what I'm saying. You want to focus time on targets, craft a message, and be able to use that message and tweak it as you go, of course. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. The third F is that you want to be friendly. You want to have a friendly vibe, right? A hi, how are you? Thank you. It would be great of you, or if you don't mind, or if it's not too much time, or thank you for your generosity, or I would love to connect, or if you would be open to. Those kinds of phrases are about being friendly. Not I do this, will you do that? The end. No, make it personable, make it friendly, make it warm, and go from there. And if you're not sure if you're being warm enough or if you think you're being too warm, too friendly, have somebody read it for you. Have someone look at it for you real quick. Okay. Because especially do that early on so you can be most effective most quickly. The fourth is find common ground. Now, this takes a little bit of work, right? It's not just searching and finding folks in the C suite or in the vice president roles at companies or target organizations you want to connect with or go work for, but it's actually digging into their profile a little bit and finding common ground. Where have they worked in the past, right? This is a common networking thing. But what this does is allows you to remember you're not just going to quickly click connect with everybody and their mother, you know, 100 in a row. As a matter of fact, I think you can only do 100 connection requests monthly now. It used to be you can just batch 500 and upload a spreadsheet. Well, no longer. Those days are gone. I think that's a good thing. But finding common ground means you're looking at their profile. Where are they from? What school did they go to? These are some simple ones, right? Maybe digging a little bit more into specific roles they've had with maybe competitive companies or maybe with the same company in a different city, or maybe there's something that they volunteer in that's very similar. Maybe it's a faith, something of a faith connection that you have. All you can do is to find common ground and be able to share that in your request so that it pops, right? There's a connection point and there's a dovetailing. It's almost like you're out there just shaking hands. Imagine if you were in a networking event at a large hotel and they had breakout rooms where, you know, everyone broke out to a different room based on interest or something that was a common ground, you know, maybe a certain role within a company or maybe a certain medical profession. It's a big medical conference and there's certain medical titles that people have. They'd be broken out in the rooms where there would be common ground. They would know what it's like to be a nurse practitioner. They would know what it's like to be a ER doctor, or they would know what it's like to be a lab tech, or whatever the case may be. Finding common ground in a profile and illustrating that in your request will lead to people connecting more effectively and more rapidly. And so there are a good percentage of requests that don't get accepted across the board. So don't consider yourself a failure if not everyone's connecting. It's just that's what it is. Remember, a third, a third, a third. A third won't ever, a third will always, and there's a third in the middle. Keep that in mind when you're building common ground. And then fifth is you always want to finish with a CTA. A CTA is a call to action, something you want to do next. As silly as it sounds, a call to action in this case would be, I hope you're open to connecting with me, or can you add me to your network, or would it be cool with you? Would you mind, if it's not too much trouble, that I join your network? Be friendly, but with the call to action, make your request known. And then I always put a salutation or signing off saying thanks in advance, Brian. And then I put my URL, if I have a URL, or my email and my phone number. Again, I'm just trying to show openness. I'm trying to create a dialogue. I'm trying to be very forthright but friendly. And remember, what if you are looking to connect with a recruiter? What if you're looking to connect with a hiring manager? Having your phone number in your message is great, because what if they look at your profile and now they want to call you? Are you making it easy? That's a great CTA. Finish with the CTA with your phone number as it makes sense. Okay, so I hope that helps. Oh, wait, I forgot. I wanted to share with you guys a little example of this. So this was just Friday. So not only about 5 days ago, I had come across I was going to a webinar training from Amy Porterfield, and my purpose is to help people know, live, and love the purpose for their career and finances. And Amy's going to help me get my message out there. And so I was connecting with, I was on Amy's webinar training, and I saw a testimony about Amy's product called Digital Course Academy, where these basically help people create digital courses for their expertise. And mine is going to be a course on LinkedIn. Go figure, right? And she talked about a lady who had a great success with her Shine program, she called it, which I loved. And I got to read a little bit about the Shine program, and I saw that her and I, are of like-minded, like value, like purpose, and very similar, helping people and serving people the way we do with our businesses. So then I searched for this lady on LinkedIn. Well, guess what? I found her. And then I read her profile. And then I found out she is from Columbus, Ohio, or at least had worked in Columbus, Ohio. Well, I went to Ohio State. And not only did I find out that she was a student of Amy's like I am, and she was in Columbus, Ohio, she also now lives in Tampa, Florida, which is where I live. Oh my goodness. So as you can see here on the screen, I sent a brief message reaching out, and I said, hi, my name is Brian Horvath. I recently saw your success story through Amy Porterfield in her DCA course. Well done. As I looked at your LinkedIn profile, I noticed we have a lot in common, including Columbus and Tampa. With our shared purpose to help people shine, which is the name of her company, I thought we could connect here on LinkedIn. Thanks in advance. My name and my my URL. Well, guess what? Right after that, actually, I sent that at 2:22. At 8 o'clock that evening, she responded back. Hey, Brian, I'm on my way out, but didn't want to miss this. But since your message popped up, I didn't want to forget. We definitely have some things in common, and so it's great to be connected. So in 6 hours and 14 minutes, and again, different rates of speed and depending on how often people use the platform, she connected with me. She connected with me. I connected with her via the invite on LinkedIn based on doing what I was doing with looking into more of her profile. So I really want to encourage you, have the foundation, find time, okay, be friendly, find common ground, and finish with a CTA, a call to action. You got to do a call to action. And as you continue to do this and get practice, you're going to be amazing. You're going to be amazing on this platform called LinkedIn, which is the world's number one professional platform in the world. So that wraps up today's LinkedIn Live Q&A Live. So glad you're with me. I encourage you to email me at brian@brianhorvath.com with your questions, and I hope to get to them soon. It's definitely not on a show. I will email you the answer. Really here to serve you, excited to serve you, and so glad you were a part of today's show. And again, if you want to catch this again, go to YouTube, search brianhorvath.com, and you'll find my LinkedIn playlist called How to Make the Right Connections on LinkedIn. Or if you want me to send that to you directly, that'd be great. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel where you'll get updates all the time when those post. So glad you're with me. Go get them, making LinkedIn happen for you.